Hello and welcome back to World Talks here on TVP World with me, Ashim Kumar. Now, the European Parliament is having its inaugural vote by the newly elected members of the Parliament. And during this session, which starts today, ends on July the 19th, members will elect the President of the Parliament, 14 Vice Presidents and 5 Quaestors. The compositions of the permanent parliamentary committees will also be established. What do we expect to happen? Well, to discuss this, I'm joined by Professor Magdalena Góra of the Institute of European Studies at the Jagiellonian University in Krakow. Professor, welcome to TVP World and thank you for taking the time.
Thank you for having me. Hello.
Hello. So, okay, let's start with an overview, a layout of what we expect to happen over the next 3 days, because it's quite a complex process.
Yes, it is. But the entire European institutions and the Brussels bubble and many European capitals are holding the breath before the tomorrow's vote on the President of the European Commission. This is certainly the most important event that is going to happen, particularly because the votings for the President of the European Parliament, the Vice President, this is, I think, pretty much secured. Most of this is agreed at the moment. We expect Roberta Metsola, a Maltese MEP, to remain the President of the European Parliament, while the Vice Presidents are primarily agreed between the party groups. But what is really the event of the session is tomorrow vote on the President or the candidate for the President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen. She received a support or a pre-nomination from the member states during the European Council meeting, but she needs to be confirmed by the European Parliament. The process of the formation of the European Commission is involving several steps. The first step is tomorrow to confirm Ursula von der Leyen as a President of the Commission. She will get back with the member states to discuss the College of Commissioners, and then each commissioner candidate will come back to the European Parliament for the confirmation vote, including Kaja Kallas, who is already sort of nominated by the member states as the High Representative and by default a Vice President of the European Commission. What we know before tomorrow vote is that it's not a smooth process in terms of the votes for the Ursula von der Leyen. She is supported at the moment by the coalition of 3 mainstream parties: her home EPP, Socialists and Democrats SND, and Liberals from Renew. But as we know from her previous confirmation voting in 2019, this is not really an easy count, because even though those 3 parties are currently having 401 MEPs, the ballot is secret. And also, there is no voting discipline within the parties. So it is expected that up to 10% of MEPs within those groups will not support her. Some already stated this out loud within her home party, but also within the Liberals and Socialists. So she is in a process of searching supportive votes, both left from this coalition, but also what is, I think at the moment, the most interesting, how she is handling the right-wing part of a spectrum.
Well, absolutely. So, okay, now even if the centre-left, let's call it, coalition, you say you think about 10% won't vote for her. What's stopping them? Who else would they prefer in that role?
I think this is not really about who else, even though, of course, some of those MEPs are probably having strong opinions. It's just the expression of discontent with what was her portfolio or the priorities in the previous term in office as a president of the European Commission. Part of this is also always domestic politics, that they just claim won't vote for her because she is like the French Republicans within the EPP, that this is a part of a domestic game. So that's really very different reasons why people or MEPs won't vote for her. Within those three mainstream parties that are sort of forming a coalition, supportive coalition for von der Leyen. But there are several things that are really contentious when it comes to discussions with the other party groups. The Greens, that were from the campaign period supportive, partially supportive of von der Leyen, are pushing for the Green Deal approach. The approach is not so popular within her home EPP party. So again, a part of the process that we are witnessing for the last 2 weeks is really a multi-dimensional negotiations that von der Leyen and her team is conducting, mostly behind closed doors, even though many meetings with parties is semi-open.
Understood, Professor. Multidimensional, I think, describes it very well, because another dimension, of course, is the growth of right-wing parties, including Patriots for Europe, I believe it's called, started by Viktor Orban and joined by Marine Le Pen, who brings 30 delegates to the party. Now, how is that going to change the voting dynamic for von der Leyen?
So for von der Leyen, two radical right-wing parties that were formed in recent days, both the Patriots for Europe, but also even more radical Europe of sovereign nations, formed primarily by German Alternative für Deutschland, which is the ultra-radical right-wing group, the smallest, but still they're formed within the time and that is allowed for the parties to form the European party groups. Those two formations are not expected to support von der Leyen. They are remaining sort of, as many claim, behind the cordon sanitaire that is imposed, so to keep them at bay, to limit the impact on institutional design of both the parliament, its committees, but also to some extent commission. The key party in the game is European Conservatives and Reformers, in which Giorgia Meloni, Italian Prime Minister, has the biggest group of MEPs. The Brothers of Italy are having, I think, 27 members of European Parliament sitting in this group. The Law and Justice from Poland is the second biggest in the group. And they are defining themselves as a constructive right-wing party, constructive in a sense that they want to play the game. So there is a discussion between the sort of Greens, particularly, and Liberals in Renew, and von der Leyen on how she will cooperate with European Conservative and Reformist to secure her nomination tomorrow, but also in the month and years to follow if she will get the job as a president of the European Commission. So von der Leyen promised to Liberals that she will not have a structural cooperation with the European Conservatives and Reformists, but at the same time, she claimed that she approached Giorgia Meloni as a Prime Minister of Italy to have her support, not as a group as such, but rather as a national leader. And of course, what Giorgia Meloni may want to receive is a very good portfolio in the European Commission for Italian commissioner. So there is a possibility that some of the MEPs from European Conservatives and Reformers will vote for von der Leyen. The Czech party, the Civic Democratic party of Prime Minister Fiala, already claimed that they may support, while on the other hand, leaders of Law and Justice delegation in the EP claim that they will not support von der Leyen. So I think the vote in ECR might be divided. We don't know what Meloni will do and her colleagues. It is provided by some media outlets that Meloni will allow them to decide. But this is something that we only will see tomorrow, since the voting is secret this is all a little bit of a drama behind or in front of us.
Indeed. Now, it's quite as you say, an uncertain situation, lots of drama going on, dynamic. When the dust settles, what impact do you think, or what will change, if you like, in the way that the European Union, European Commission sets policies and direction, if anything?
I think the von der Leyen is claiming that what she is assuring is a continuation rather than chaotic possible scenarios if she will not get the nomination. But if she will get the nomination, it seems that she will focus on several priorities that she set during the campaign, and that will, as I said, be continuation, strong support for Ukraine, developing defense capabilities, industrial defense capabilities for European Union, increasing competitiveness, dealing with migration, but also more contentious issues, how to deal with agriculture versus the Green Deal and environmental protection, how to assure more financial resources to the EU budget to finance all of those high aspirational policies that she is promoting. I think when she will get a nomination tomorrow, what we will see is primarily a continuation with, of course, a lot of contentious issues ahead of us. But still, the drama will not be over because we will still be in a process of couple of weeks at least to form the new commission, and each member state has its own stakes when it comes to what kind of portfolio they will get. And all of this is not only in the context of this fairly new dynamic in the European Parliament and maybe more difficult to navigate for the European Commission, which needs to get support for its policies, right, on the way.
Well, certainly so many questions yet unanswered, but as always, we'll be keeping a very close eye on the situation and reporting on it here at TVP World. Thank you very much, Professor, for sharing your analysis with our audience. Have a good day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, that's all from us on this episode of World Talks. Don't go away. We'll be right back.